I'm David Deacon Joyner. I'm the jazz band director at PLU. I don't know if any of you have been down for honor band or anything, it'd take you all the way down to South Dakota. But anyway, thank you very much. I haven't seen you guys in a long time. I was just telling Mr. Kim that it's always great to hear you guys, and you know, I'm doing different festivals every year, and you know, so we just kind of passing the night and everything. So I think it's been about 2 or 3 years since we've synced this up where I can actually get in front of you guys. So it's really great to hear you again. Let's dig in and fix some stuff for a little while, shall we? Sound good? Okay. First of all, man, and this was like, we were all talking about this. For a high school band, you guys are the king of playing soft. You guys play soft, but well, first of all, you play soft, and you play soft well. You know, so the way you guys use dynamics and stuff is really, really good. Okay, that's the upside. Okay, now the thing you probably need to bring back into the overall concept is you guys play really very clean and you know, good core sound of the band. The intonation is great. I mean, the trombone unison on Just Friends was just, I mean, it was just, yeah, it was very, very nice. So, you know what we need to do now is just kind of put a little edge back in it. It's almost just a little bit fussy. It's almost a little bit too concert bandy. Everything's, you know, kind of soft. Bring a little bit more snap, crackle, and pop to the articulations, and you know, some things like that. So just the things where we just need to put a little more hair and fangs in it. You know, so I think if we could do that, keep the pristine basic idea that you've got. It's a very, very clean band. Now we just need to bring some edge back to it. And I do the same thing at PLU. You know, I got, you know, students that have this, you know, my trumpet players have this nice little round sound. They were taught in their classical trumpet, and I had Andy Amdahl come in and say, how can I get some noise out of them? You know, you're on the third row because you're supposed to be louder than everybody else, you know. And he just said, he was just talking about just, you know, bringing some edge back to it. So I think that's just what we need to do is just get a little bit renegade, you know, kind of bring that to it. Case in point, let's play a bit of Shiny Stockings where I made the comment, you know, a little bit of bite in the articulations on the brass, even in the soft section. So I sort of heard this comment made about Jeff Hamilton. You guys know Jeff Hamilton? Yeah. Does he come up and hang out with you guys a little bit? Well, you know, he's a great trio drummer. So that I'm being a piano player, you know, he's the kind of drummer that I want to play with because, as I've heard it, he plays soft with a fire in his belly. And so if we always do that, that even when you're playing soft, there's like, say, you know, classical soft where it's very, very tender like we do on Crystal Silence. You know, it's very lyrical, very lovely. And then there's the kind of thing on this where you come to a soft passage. The kind of energy I'm talking about is where, you know, I've got this manhole cover that's kind of rattling a little bit because there's like a really mad tiger down there. It's just like, you know, if I ever pull this lid off, it's going to be, you know. And so even when you're on the soft passages, because we know it's going to go, ba da 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 da. So the whole time you're playing soft, have that you know, that energy behind, press it against the door like a backdraft or something. So that when we get to that point, it's just going to go, you know, and out it comes. So always kind of have that suspense in there. All right, let's get this sucker going. Dun, dun, dun. Feel about right? 2, 1, 2, there. So obviously there's a couple of places to really lean into it as far as the articulations. So probably the only 2 places that really jump out and go boo are you know, across the bar into bar 9, and then so am I hearing it right? You guys put a little bit of a fall at the end of 10. Go, da, 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 da. Say, rather than the car going off the cliff like this, hit the edge at about 50 miles an hour, so you go da, 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 da. All right, so keep the sound going and let it hang out there. You'll have time. Do, da, 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 da. Let the note go just a little bit longer over the bar line before you let it fall down. And then play through the ornament. That's one of the things that, I think his name's John Davis. He's the director at UC Boulder. He did this great clinic called Fine Tuning Your Big Band. And he was talking about articulations and playing the ornaments. And he said things like falls. He said you really won't hear them unless you actually play down through it, because the notes going down is going to make it get softer anyway, so keep the sound going through it. Do, do, da, da, da. All right. The other thing is be very, very vigilant. And you got like 4 short quarter notes in the row that you don't get impatient and let them pick up. Da, 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 da. It wants to just kind of keep it in the pocket. Hiccups to A. 2, 1, 2, 3. There you go. Now just to kind of finish the exercise, at 15, now we got 3 whole beats going by just like we did at 11. You really want to lay into that one. Boom, ah, da. And I think the way to get the concept on that is that downbeat of 3. I probably have it somewhere in here. Is play the rests. Be very, very active in the rest. Particularly if it's a downbeat rest before you're going to come in on an upbeat. Don't think, okay, doing nothing, now I'm doing something, like that. But instead, think of, just like the drummer is going to do something like ridiculous setup that would be completely inappropriate there. So you're in cut mutes, we're all kind of soft. But let's say at 15 he goes ding, ding, ba, da, It'll really set you off because you'll play with an equal and opposite force. Because big bands, to me the whole concept is it's made up of 2 drum sets. This is a drum set and that's a drum set. And so if you think about all the figures you have in jazz band charts like this, they're drum figures. Ba-doo-doo-doo, da, ba-da, ba-da, here's the tom-tom roll down or something, and here's the crash cymbal, You can just hear it. They're all drum set figures. You can play this whole chart on your drum set, and say, that's the trumpets, and that's the altos, and it's all right there, And of course, there's the bass player all the time, right? Like that. So, all right. Okay, so you get the idea there, right? It's just some things that just really need to be just punched a lot more and add some excitement to it. Put a lot of front end pop on that. But I did make a note there that when the saxes kind of creep in on that second time with the long notes, I thought yours was just right, because that should be a little bit ghostly and soft and kind of dead tone, because it's very much in the background. You're kind of like the vocal group is going, the street corner. So that was great, and then you turn it on right when you needed to. Here it comes, okay? All right, the sax solo. Let's play that for a second. See how that goes a second time, all right? Any comment I make, I always wait till you do it a second time, because you may not do it again, and then, I say, oh, I didn't even say anything, they fixed it. Let's see what happens. Right on it? The break, 36. You guys go ahead and give me, so we can bounce off of that. 36, 2, 1, 2, 3, and. We'll talk about eighth note concept for just a second. Go ahead and have a seat there, guys. But I noticed something kind of wild is notes that you'd kind of swallow up. I mean, just like kind of completely vanish. I'm trying to think of like ba ba do ba do ba doo 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 da. You know, I kind of, it sounded like ba ba do doo 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 doo. It sounds like you left out the second eighth note almost altogether. So you might need to bring a little bit of that back in. Ba ba do doo 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 doo. Just a little bit more sound on that. Don't ghost it. Don't over ghost it there. Okay. Okay. Here's what's kind of happening. The eighth notes are pretty good. We're batting about 750. You want to take just a second to kind of get it up to the next level as far as making that swing. A little bit more of the reverse accent, coming off of the upbeat onto the down. Like, do boo boo do 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 do. All right. So even that can be easy enough to do to reverse it. What's happening though in general when you guys have an eighth note pass, it always wants to pick up just a little bit. It doesn't want to stay settled down into the groove. I think the key to that, and this is like a next thing to add to your tweaking swing eighth notes, is the more I work with young bands on swing eighth notes, the more I found that they kind of disregard the downbeat part of it because they're so busy at do whack, 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 hitting the upbeat with an accent, and that's where things kind of pick up. Instead, kind of think of this for a second as you play your eighth notes, that I'm going to tell you to do two different things at once. Yes, accent the upbeats a little bit to get the reverse bump of swing eighths, but think about the bass player. Doom, 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 doom. Real long, fat downbeats. So think about that for a second. About really full length, really, really fat downbeat eighth notes. Okay. Can we just play that much, just your pickup bar? 1, 2, 3, 4, back. Okay, one more time on that. So now I'm hearing the note, but it's just a little bit out of place. Can we just play that measure? 1, 2, 3, and. Now see, there's a great case in point because your first and second beats, your down beats are the higher notes, right? So that's a good place to go, boom, boo, da, da, as opposed to do, ba, do, ba, din, do, da, da. That's the two kind of swing eighth figures I talk about. One is what I call didn't phrasing. Did, and the other one is when you have a line that's going in this direction. Boo, ba, do, ba, do, ba, do, be, do, ba, do, da, do, da, do. I'm still thinking about those quarter notes, but I'm bumping the eighth notes. That's what makes it swing. And I learned that in a real big hurry when I was at North Texas, and I'd play a Dallas country band once in a while or something. You got a whole lot of this. Hand, that's when you become real aware of that good old Texas shuffle, because those bands swing like mad too, Bring that in. Okay, saxes, that's better, all right? Let's keep that in mind and go ahead and play this 8 bars, then we'll go to another tune and get along our way here. This time will go by fast, all right? Start right at 38 with the rhythm section in. So really dig into our friend the bass player back there. Just always underappreciated. Down there taking care of business. So give him some love. 38, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. That much, and I mean, we're fixing every parameter of it. Okay, here's the last little thing we're going to plug in. Now we're so overachieving on bumping the eighth notes that we've got the Texas Shuffle that I was playing a second. Now they'd be ready to play with Willie Nelson. And walking after midnight. So now bring a little more sound back into the downbeats so that the phrasing is smoother but still just as percussive. So, where was I? Oh, boo ba doo ba doo ba dee boo doo da do dee da doo ba doo ba doo ba. See, now I'm connecting it a little bit, putting a little more sound on the downbeats. Okay, start right on 38 again. Give me a little more sound on the downbeats. And we're batting 1,000. Okay, 1, 2, 3, go. Made my day. That's as perfect as anybody can play that sax solo right there. Control S, Command S if you're back. Okay, that's great. Okay, let me see here. Sebastian, I'm going to go to the shout section and put all that to work. I guess we better talk about these other couple of tunes just in case, and then maybe we'll come back and work on that a little bit. Okay, Crystal Silence. The band did just before you played this, they did it as a guitar feature. And so it's nice to hear it as a tenor feature. Is that what it was originally written for here? Yeah. Camaro's arrangement of it.
Mike tomorrow.
Yeah, you know, and I saw, you know, he was arranging everything off of that Crystal Silence album. We opted for Senior Mouse, played that last week. It's hard, but it's really, really good chart. Now once again, this is where you guys are in your glory, because you played with such class. You know, what everybody's told you on ballads, you know, so okay, you gotta have the pitch together, you gotta have the balance, and you can't just let the background figures just sit there and shape them and things like that. And you guys just own that. You guys play soft stuff really, really, really well. I tell you, the big thing is a piano player. Where I kick in, because, you know, I found this out in 9th grade when I got in there. You play the elbows, and it doesn't make much difference because you got all of this around you, know, and it's like we get to does the tenor kick in here somewhere, right? Let's do a bit of solo before. Okay, so here's the glorious spot here at measure 9, and then I thought there was a place where maybe you improvised before the piano solo came in. That's not true then, is it? Okay. Well, anyway, so I have perfectly good little figure written there, but it's just kind of like, oh man, for 8 bars before the sax footballs come in or something, I get to accompany the soloist. You know, so that's where we piano players get to change our role a little bit from being a rhythm instrument to a texture instrument. So we can sort of compensate for all the stuff that hasn't come in there yet. So I mean that figure is okay, but you can go ahead and interplay with it a little bit more than that. You can put a little sparkles up there. You know, I love to play, say, behind a singer or something, get to do the little noodles and stuff. So you can go ahead and fill that up just a little bit more if you want to. So can I hear just a little bit of this from the top? And then you may skip ahead to all of the big noisy stuff at the end, all right? It's maybe just a little slower than what she did it, I'm not sure. And so, of course, they just really think the 8th notes. 2 and 3 and 4. looking at the score, I actually see they have that in the guitar part to do the little light fills. I think that was the spot that I was thinking. Yeah, the figure that's written there is perfectly fine for that because it's in the arrangement more or less. But yeah, if we could bring that out a little bit more, just to start a little bit of a talk with you. We can go right at that spot there, right at 18. 2 and 3 and 4. Charmed me to death on that one. Beautiful solo. Just a couple of things that I might suggest just for the shaping of it is, particularly as you get a little further into it, is give it the old Chopin treatment a little bit, and kind of surge a little once in a while. Just kind of like as a singer, just got louder, put in more vibrato, whatever our equivalent of that is, just to give it some shape, some ebb, and some flow. And then the other thing, and you can see the suggested solo that's written there, but what I can take from that is once the trombones come in, is that it gets more active. Okay? So for that first part, you're right in the atmosphere of the tune. That feels really good. But say once they come in with those long lines, is that, yeah, we want to hear something more frenetic over the top. Again, very lyrical, but just more sweeps, in it yet. So just kind of think about that. And particularly since you know that the way they're sort of, breathing with it, what the phrasing is going to be is it's going to be dum, dum, ba, da, do, 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 ba, ba, dee, da, do, 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 da, ba, dee, So you can know that that's going to be there. You can kind of do a call and response off of that. It'd be a great little interaction with that. But if you don't change textures in your melody. When that comes in, it's not growing, you know, along with the background coming in. Plus, there's more noise and you got more things you got to fight for. We're back to the old game again, you know, playing with our elbows. Okay, cool. All right, let's talk about the last one here. Where's my? You got a? Oh, really? Okay. Every time I look at this, I always think it's some announcer that mispronounced and said "just fiends." Let me see what we're doing here. So the biggest one, again, was the piano on this one. You know, not necessarily playing a montuno, but just when you do comp, you know, really lay into it, make it really crisp or something, because more of a texture instrument on ballads, more of a percussion instrument than we are even on swing things on this. So we're really into that, okay? Let's go right at 17, okay? Because I know we've got like 1 minute. Ah! Here we go. Dun, 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 dun. All right? 1, 2, 1, 2, 1. 5. So that it cuts through them. So when you're punching, you will hear the brilliance. So you got the body of the word. Now put in like, you know, octave, fifth octave.
Jump up and down.
It cuts through. Thanks, everybody.